Make the ground shake.
Kaito change. 010 Masquerade. Kaito change. Patranger. Kaito change. Axe nice. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, GamerK, and it's time for the last video of the month of February. And for this one, I decided to go once again, and I'm running out almost of my next idea from Super Sentai to Power Rangers. Let's see. We've hit the rails with Resha Sentai, with kids becoming adults, which I really think in a couple of years I should really go more into detail about that. We've gone animal with Dobo Sentai. We've ventured into the cosmos with Q Ranger. And we've also kind of dived into what could be in what is now Dino Fury. The name still infuriates me a little bit. One sec, let me just fix the camera. There we go. But now it is time for a game of cops and robbers with Kaito Sentai, Lupinranger, and Kaito Sentai, Patranger. That is right. Two different teams fighting alongside and against each other in this, honestly, other than Q Ranger and Dobo Sentai, Lupinranger vs Patranger was my most favorite because it had everything I really loved about a crime genre. I mean, there weren't murders or anything, but there were actual cases, conflict between the characters, and a good realization, and I really do love that. So, I give you Power Rangers, Lupinranger, I'm keeping the name because it works, versus Justice Corp. So let's start it off. So the big thing with this is that it's two groups. One team, the thieves, being red, blue, and yellow, while the police officers would be obviously red, green, and pink. I really like that they had a separate one. And these ideas may seem a little bizarre and a little out there and a little not dark, but I'm going to say this. SPD was allowed to go a little bit dark. The older Power Rangers were allowed to go a little bit dark. So why can't they go dark again? And I'm really hoping they do, or else, I don't know, the lightheartedness of all the other ones, it needs to go a little dark sometimes. So, like always, I'm going to start with the villains. The Ganglers, which were a interdimensional criminal underworld, led by the one and only Don Armaggio, which kind of sounds the same like Don Armaggio from my Q Ranger villain thing. But I think they can change his name to something a little threatening, but still keep him a crime boss. And instead of having him, like, very rarely does he leave his home in the interdimensional. He could, maybe because each creature of the criminal organization, I think they should be called the abyssal crime organization. Something a little that's dark and mysterious. And each one of the monsters has a safe built into their design where they hold the mythical treasures. I mean, I don't think they'll do the mythical treasure vibe because basically all they are is recolors of all the old morphers and weapons from previous Power Rangers. I found that really cool, but I think it would be kind of a cop-out to do something like that when Megaforce and kind of Beast Morphers kind of did something like that. So the lock could just be there where they absorb all the energy from humans in order to, I don't know, for the grand plot that the criminal underworld, that their boss is working on. I think that could be something cool. And a lot of them have an animal motif as well, which I really, really like. So instead of being the big boss that leaves his base, maybe he's stuck in his mansion because he needs something to be unlocked, something like that. Something like that would work. Two of his henchmen were Destra, which was kind of a war machine kind of looking creature who would create these golems as henchmen. I think Destra could definitely continue to be that right-hand man, real enforcer kind of character. And because this is a cop and thief motif, maybe he can be, all of them would have, all of the abyssal monsters could have the ability to morph into a human, much like in SPD and Time Force, where they could mix and mingle with the humans in order to disguise their criminal activities. I think that's something that can definitely be done well. So Destra could be the enforcer that's been implanted into the police force, the Justice Corp, in order to feed insider information to the boss, and so on and so on. It would be kind of really weird of who to hit would be, but I think they could make something really cool. Because they did something like that in SPD with Sky's best friend Drew, and I really enjoyed it. The female character of the crime organization was Gauche, who kind of had this ostrich aquatic creature, and she would use her powers to make the monsters grow by sending a beam of energy into their safe, because that would be what was be left behind, and to make the monsters grow. Because I'm really getting tired of how they're making them grow nowadays. It's either, actually the last ones haven't been that bad. So yeah, I just don't want a beam again, because Ninja Steel did it, Dino Charge did it. They need to stop doing laser beams from the sky. It was fun for a bit. It needs to end. And she can definitely have a little bit more of a role, like constantly being at the boss's side and not being in love with him like Poisandra from Dino Charge, but still keeping her and not to be a mischievous character like how Madame Odious was in Ninja Steel. Seriously? Yikes. And my favorite villain from this was a freelance guy who did not care about what the boss did or what the criminals did. He was a broker who would freeze humans, shatter them, and use their bodies as disguises. Obviously, they can't go that deep, but Zamigo Delma needs to be kept as a really cool loner character, and they need to have him keep the actor who plays him, he needs to say adios, because it was his catchphrase, and it was done in such a cool way, and he needs to be... I really enjoyed how they did the villain symmetry within the series. While the criminal underworld was being tracked by the police force, the Lupinrangers would have a very serious rivalry or grudge with Zamigo, because in the original, Lupin Red lost his older brother, Yellow lost her best friend, and Blue lost his girlfriend slash fiance who he proposed to, and they were told to collect all the treasures in order to be granted a wish, but Zamigo made himself known, and he's just a cool villain with this desperado look, with this chilly Grim Reaper aesthetic and ice guns, where after he uses them, he destroys them and gets more from his twin safes. I think he needs to be kept as a loner. But he is the main force that will drive the Lupinranger's quest. And again, he still works for the boss, but he's more of a freelance guy, like only on serious assignments. And going to the Lupinrangers, starting them off, or should I start with the police? Basically, the story will go something like this. In the original, the Lupinrangers were first, and then the Patrangers came. But I think they need to reverse it, have the police force be first with the morphers, and then like maybe 2 to 3 episodes later, then the Lupin Rangers come in. Story is, in the distant future, the police force is growing into the Justice Corp, which is a central, basically not the entire police force, but a secret branch of the police force. And 3 special operatives have been chosen to go under the Justice Corp Ranger scenario. So red would have to be, what do I have here? Like maybe red would be like an elite officer who has gone the distance, who has done a majority of police work, and he's basically the senior officer, something like that. Have them be adults. Don't keep going the teenage route, because I think it would really, because it's the same route they went with the Patrangers, and it would really maturize the characters a little bit. Pink can be the rookie. Where is it? Yeah, the rookie cadet who, and I'm changing this for the better, needs to be the sister of Lupin Yellow, the older sister. It will get into the story that I'm planning to do a little bit more. And green, I'm not going the bridge or trip route, although now that I think about it, every time there's been police force, the Green Ranger has always been the funny one. So maybe we can make green the lab tech, who, because of his experience with forensics, makes him a cool character to have out in the field as well as fight, where he can analyze evidence in the field and come to a good conclusion, kind of like how Bridge did in the series. So, starting off, the Patrangers fight a couple criminals, and Pink's father is a lab tech who developed the Justice Corp morphers and all the extra weapons that they will use throughout the show. And then maybe at the beginning of season 2, we don't know exactly who yet. I mean, we do, because I'm explaining it. Zamigo was tasked to eliminate the Doctor because he discovered there's some correlation between someone in the Justice Corp and the abyssal criminal underworld. Basically, someone in the police force is feeding them information and allowing them and covering up their crimes so they can continue their work. And Zamigo is called to axe him while Lupin Yellow was there bringing her dad something, helping him, and then she silently sees him getting killed, but doesn't know who. I mean, all that's left is the ice, and he's dies. I mean, we can kill people in Power Rangers still. It's been done numerous times. And that sends her into grief. And yeah, she knows that her sister is in the police force, but she doesn't think it's going to be enough because they can't progress unless they're given the order. And one thing why I kept the Lupinranger is because it's based on Arsène Lupin, the great gentleman thief in literature. So I think maybe Yellow and her father even though he worked for the police force, he liked to read her the stories of the gentleman thief Arsène Lupin. So she became a fan, and then in his office, he finds a secret project he was working on, because the Justice Corp morphers will work in tangent with the Justice Corp servers, the police force. But he needed to come up with an idea of how to work outside of the police force in order to crack down on the correlation between some disappearances that have been happening that the police force haven't been taken seriously, the Justice Corp, and the abyssal criminal underworld. Hence, the Lupin morphers, which is basically the same. The Justice Corp morphers, all their vehicles are land-based vehicles, like an engine, a patrol car, a SWAT car, a bike, land vehicles. While the Lupinranger weapons and Zords would be flight-based, like a helicopter, a jet, stuff like in the air, which I really, really like, that the land is the police and the sky is the thieves. I really enjoy that motif. And obviously there will be their own secret hangar for their Zords, so the police wouldn't know. So Yellow discovers this and discovers the a note with a little bit of evidence from her father that he's uncovered a conspiracy within the police department, and even though he trusts his daughter isn't involved, he can't let her suspect anything until the time is right. So he leaves his youngest daughter with the 3 Lupin morphers, and she needs to find 2 people to help her. And one of them, I'm thinking Blue. I mean, what does every great thief group need? I believe they need an amazing hacker and a cyber analyst in order to hack into the police force, get the evident log, and do their own background check. So Blue would obviously be the hacker that she finds via the police files that her sister brings home to work on, and she kind of talks him into it, which I think would be really cool, because either he's a friend or he's someone who wants to do good but doesn't believe the police force. And Red needs to be someone stubborn as all heck. I'm thinking a master thief who's constantly being brought in by her sister, and when she's at the station, he constantly maybe hits on her a little bit, always gets shut down. But then, after being bailed out by his mentor and getting scolded for being too reckless, not caring about the craft of being a thief. Obviously, he's not going to say that to the police, but once he bails him out, and, they get into a bit of an argument, and Zamigo just does what he does for fun, instead of more of it being a job. So he acts as the mentor, and he basically, Red starts to fight with Zamigo, but realizes he's too weak, and he kind of mocks him, saying that you're not going to get me, no one's going to believe you. Stuff like that, in order to taunt him. And that's when he goes to Yellow's apartment or their house and says that he's in. But in order for this to work, they need to keep it a secret. They need to make sure no one knows, not even her own sister. So again, I'm kind of taking a little reference from Persona 5 a little bit, with Makoto and Sai a little bit. While Sai works for the police force as a prosecutor, Makoto works for the Phantom Thieves and goes in correlation to that. I get a lot of my ideas from other media that I watch in order to build up my characters. So I think this could work very well. And for the Zords, this is what I like. In the show, they had Goody Striker, which is an annoying name. I think they could call it the Justice Driver, something like that, because it is a car, but it also flips into a jet. So I think depending on who uses it, it obviously transform for the Justice Corp. It will go into car mode, launch it, and it will merge with the other vehicles to create man, I need to really think of names for the Zords. It will come to me. It will hopefully come later on. And for the Lupinrangers, when they attach it, turn it, and shoot, it will turn into a jet and merge with their Zord. So it will be one Zord battle per one main Zord body that will combine with the others in order to form, one per episode. So only one will be able to use it at a time, until later on when they are able to merge all together, and they occasionally within the series they will have to work together, even though it's not really good for the heroes to work with the thieves, and it causes a little controversy. And it's not until later, like midway, when the 7th guy comes in, and I am really taking a twist here. In the original, Silver and Gold are one Ranger, a police guy who was also working for the Lupinrangers in secret. I think instead of that, they need to switch it as the cases get a little bit better and the conspiracy is kind of being open a little bit. The police force decide to bring the higher ups of the Justice Corp decide to send in a profiler in order to profile the Lupinrangers and discover their identities. And the profiler has to be a female, because we need a third female in this group. There's one female in each, I think, because we never really had the extra ranger be a female. And that, in Dino Charge they did, but it wasn't enough. So I think a female needs to be both. For thief, she turns into silver. For cop, she turns into gold. And her Zord is and her gun, which is her morpher, goes big when she uses it and transforms into a train Zord. And depending on which side it turns into, it will go into let's see, Zord X, because she does have the X motif on her. So Zord X slash mode, which will be for the thief, and gunner mode, which will have a Gatling gun on it for the cop side. So here's how it works. In the beginning, she does work with the Justice Corp, and as they fight like the next bit of monsters, she watches the Lupinrangers and kind of develops a profile on them. And then later on, she deduces that it is the younger sister of Pink, but she doesn't say anything right away. She says like she needs more time to build a better profile, and then she confronts the Lupinrangers with a false monster reading and lets them know that she knows who they are. But then transforms into Lupin Silver and tells her that she's going to give them one chance to prove to them that what they're doing is just and why they're doing all this. Like fighting against the cops, going about this when they should leave it to the cops. And then, later on, she stumbles upon notes of the conspiracy and sees video footage of the professor getting killed by Zamigo. I really hope they keep that name. It works. It's a fantastic name. And then sees that Yellow was there and witnessed it. So she realizes that she can't trust her sister with this, and she can't trust the police because there's a bigger conspiracy. So after that, she deletes her information on the Lupinrangers and works both sides of the coin. And I think it would be a really cool cop-themed Power Rangers again, because all the cop-themed ones have been fantastic. SPD was phenomenal. Time Force was beyond exceptional. So I think going in the cop route again with Lupinranger and the Justice Corp can really make Power Rangers really, really, really cool and interesting, and have like a stalker cases, arsons, theft, all that good stuff that all the other ones had, but make it a little bit more believable. And of course, there will be some fun moments between where the Lupinrangers are in their civilian forms and kind of joshing around with the cops as they go over and like see the sister, and kind of they don't know, kind of like what was done with Patranger and Lupinranger, where they were buddy with them outside of uniform. And I think that it would cause some trust issues, some character development, and I really think it's something that could be done exponentially well. And all honesty, I really hope Dino Fury isn't the last Power Ranger, because these ones need to get made because they are so unique, so incredible, and there's limitless opportunities they can do. And that's all I gotta say for this, for Lupinranger versus the Justice Corp. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed my ideas. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and that's pretty much it for this week. So, well, the end of the month, actually. So, hope you enjoyed my Super Sentai to Power Rangers ideas. I hope you enjoyed my ideas for the Lupinrangers and Patranger ideas. So, let me know what you guys think on the bottom. And join me next week, where we begin the month of March, which is my sister's birth month, mind you, as we start off the fun month of March with I'm basically going to be doing a list next week of some boss fights that may look retro, but oh lord, are they not difficult. This is Gamer K, logging out.